In this tutorial, we will cover chapter 1.4 of the book Spring Boot Quick Start. In this chapter, we show how to create a simple Spring Boot web application. So previously, we have shown how to create a Spring Boot project that was console application because it only displayed value inside the console. So in the previous example, we just added this line, and this line was then displaying this text to the console once the application is started. Since most of the application that we will be creating in this book are web application, we will now create a very simple Spring Boot web application just to have a feel in which way it differs from this type of console application. So this is described in this chapter. Our application will be very simple. It will only have a single controller with a single endpoint, as shown here. So this is our controller, and so this is Java class, and if Java class is supposed to be used as a controller, we need to annotate it, but using this annotation. And then inside that class, we can add methods which should act like endpoints. If method is supposed to be used as an endpoint, it needs to be annotated with annotation like this. There are also other annotations, but in our example, we'll use this. So this annotation says to Tomcat that if URL ends with hello, that the HTTP request should be forwarded to this method. And in our case, this method only returns a hello from controller. So in order to create a Spring Boot web application, we just need to follow the steps that was previously explained in how to create a Spring Boot project, either with Community Edition and Ultimate Edition. And then after the project has been created, we just need to create this additional class and properly annotate the class and the method used within it. After that, we can start the application in the same way that was described here in the run application chapter, where we were running our basic console application. So the application is started by pressing this green arrow, which will start the run configuration. Okay, so once we start our application, we can open the web browser, for instance Google Chrome, and type this URL, and we will get a response from our application, because in our controller we have defined endpoint that maps to this path by using this annotation. So when we type hello in the URL, Tomcat server will call this method and return this value as shown here. And this is how our application will look like. It will have a controllers package, and inside it will have a myController Java class with a single method that responds to hello URL path and returns hello from controller string. And this is how our POM.xml will look like. And the only Spring Boot starter, or in other words dependency, that we have chosen is a Spring Boot starter web dependency. So this is what we have chosen while creating the application, and this dependency will allow us to use REST controller annotation, request mapping annotation, and it will also include Tomcat server in our application, so that application can be called by using a web browser. So this is like a basic approach of creating Spring Boot web application, and this is what we will be using when creating every application that will be explained in the subsequent tutorials. So all of our tutorials will start by creating this type of Spring Boot web application, and the only difference will be that will be the classes that we add to that application. So in this example, we only have a single myController class inside the package controllers, but as we move forward through tutorials, we might have additional classes and also additional packages and also additional classes, Java classes within those packages. But the way to run the application will remain the same by pressing this green arrow, and the way to test our application will be the same. We will be using Google Chrome and then entering needed URLs to get some responses from our application. Also, when you are creating application, so in this case, we were only selecting a single Spring Boot status, but in tutorials that follow, in this table, it will be stated which Spring Boot starters should be selected, and in some cases, there will be more than one.